Hello guys, kindly check this application out. When we select any country, we get a flag and the area code. You can see guys. So that is that. Let's develop this using the REST countries API. If you want to type along with me, you can install the following. 1. npm install Axios and 2. npm install UUID. With those said and done, let's begin. Thank you very much. Let's begin by creating two folders in our source folder. Let's call the first one assets. Then call the second one components. With assets, we work with the spinners later. So let's move to the next one and go to components. Component, let's create a file and call it flag app.js. So inside our REFCE, instead of ordinary div, why don't we make it React.fragment? We say React.fragment, create a section, and inside the section we get a div and say hello. Let's link this div to the app.js to view on the screen. So we call flag app here. We'll then import it from where? From components. Then that. Let's check our screen if we got hello. Great, we got hello on the screen, means we're ready to go. So let's reposition everything. This is mobile first. Let's close the app.js. So instead of the hello div, let's use this div as a container. So we take the hello off, then create a class name to handle the container. Let's give it bg white, width auto, height 96, pb20, mx5, mt40. So that is that. Now inside that, let's get our header. Okay, so we say header section. So for the header section, let's create a div. Inside the div, let's get a p tag, and in the p tag, let's get a heading. Good. So let's give this heading a class name. Good. So we say uppercase font bold through Excel and text center. Now let's give it its div some height. So we come here and give it some class name. Good. So we say height 32, flex, justify, send item center, and some shadow. So that is that. We're done with the header. Now let's go to the body. So we come down and say body section. Good. Now body section, let's create a div. Now inside that, let's create another div. Good, which will be our container. Here, let's get two divs. One for select and one for another container. So we say div to 1 and 2. So the first one is going to be for select. So let's say select. Good. Inside the select, we need an option where we're going to say select country. So that is that for the first one. And the second one over here, this is one div here and this another div here. So this one is going to take 3 divs. So we have one for the flag, one for the what's the name, the area code, and the last one for the input. Do it like this. So what we need to do is to bring everything to the center. So to do that, we locate the appearance div, which is this one, and give it a class name. So that is that. Next, let's give some width and height to our select. So right here, we give it a class name and say, let's go down here. Good. So we say width full, height full, then text XL, rounded LG, and our medial screen make the text 2XL. Width full, right? Okay, let's make the width 96. Okay, yeah, that's good. So now that is that for now. What do we do next? Now next thing I want us to do is to get the values in the countries in the select field. Okay, so to do that, let's import use effect and use state. So over here we say import React use state and use effect. So that is that. Next, let's call a state to handle the loading data and the error state. Okay, so we say over here, good, we can say const country state comma set country state equals to use state, and inside that we have our loading. We will declare it as false. The countries, we give it an empty array. Error state, we say error message, let's say empty string. So that is that for the loading. Now let's create a use effect to call the API. Okay, so over here we can say call the API, we give it use effect, and we say const fetch data. Fetch data, we're using asynchronous wait, so we say try and catch. Let's first the spinner, so we say set country state, we give the state back, then we say loading, this time make the loading true. Now after that we fetch the data, and over here so the data, we say const data URL, we give it the URL. Then we say next const response equal await Axios.get the data URL. Now after that we set country state, we get a country state back, then we make the countries, we give it the value response.data, then we make loading, it was true over here, so we make the loading false. Now after that we catch the error. Now to catch the error we say set country state, we say this time we make the loading false, then we get this thing back, the country state back. Let me do it this way. The country state first, get the country state back, then we can make the loading false, then the error message, let's make sorry something went wrong. So that is that. Now it's asking for something. Axios is not defined, so let's import Axios. So we go import Axios. Yeah, that's the Axios is imported. So now what do? Let's check console log and check if we got data. So down here we say, so you can see guys, we destructure the loading error message and countries, then we say country state, so we put them, so this time we can console log the loading, console log the countries, and console log the error message. So let's check it out if we got data. So we console, go there, and we say let's run it and see. You can see our loading is true. You can see guys, we got data. We got data guys. Now what we're going to do is to map the data into the select field. Okay, so let's do that. To map the data, let's go to the select section, then after the first option we create a JSX. Good. Then so guys, over here we say countries.map. Inside that we get an item that should return an option, then inside that we say item.name.common, then we give it a value item.name.common. Okay, why did we give it item.name.common? Item.name.common is locating the countries. When you go to console, you can see the countries array. When you go to it, you see that to get the name of the country is located over here. Let's go to the, you can see this common, then the country name comes. So item.name.common will give us our country name. So we give that the same value to the option. Now it's complaining. You realize that it's complaining needs a key which treasure. So let's import UUID. So we go up and say good. Now UUID, let's call it. Come down here inside the option. After the option we say key equals UUID v4. So that is that UUID is ready. I think this message should disappear. So that is that. Now let's check. You can see guys, we got data. We got data guys. Nice. So that is that. Now next thing to do is to what? Search for link the any country we select. We need to get a state to handle any country that we select. So let's do that. Let's create a state to do that. So we go up here and we say const selected country comma set selected country equals use state, which is empty. So now we give the select field a value and an on-change. So we go to the select field, so here over here, let's give it value and on-change. Okay, so we say, so over here we give it a value selected country, then we give it an on-change, an event to give it, which you set selected country event or target dot value. So this is going to when we select from here, it will go to the state selected country. So we can console log it to check it. So over here, let's console log selected country. So we say console log selected country. So we have our selected country here. So when we select something, let's try selecting something. And we select country, see the country name comes. Let's select Venezuela. So you can see Venezuela comes. Now, next to do is to find the country that has been selected. Find that country data. Anytime we select a country, let's find that country data. So to do that, we go down here, then say find country data. Find selected country data. Okay. So where we say search selected country data equals countries.find, there we say object, and if the object.name.common, which we discussed earlier, which is equal to the selected country, then return true, otherwise return false. You can see, guys. So let's console this, console log the selected country data to check what we have done. So down here we can say console log search selected country data. So now let's check it. When we run it, get and select a country. Okay, it's loading. Select a country. Let's say any country. Good. You can see that country's data appears. You can see that country's data. So now what do we do with this data? We need to get the flag and the code from this data. So let's see how to do that. So let's go down here and take the first one. The first one, we want the flag, okay, which is 1. Let's take the flag. So let's look for where the flag is. You can see the flag over here. Then you see the flags.png. You can see in the flag URL comes. So to get the flag, let's say selected. Let's create an img for the what's the name? Let's say img tag. Then inside that we can get an src equals. Good. Then over here we can say alt. So that is that. So now let's get our, so over here we say search selected country dot flags dot png. Can see, guys, so we are able to get a flag from here. But when we run it, it will complain. Good. Because we need this need to be true. The search here. Where is it? Search country. Here. The search selected country needs to be true before this the flag side will work. So we say search. Let's copy that and make it, when it is true, then display the flag. So by here we can say to the end, when it's true, then display the flag. So you can see, guys. So when we okay, let's just finish loading. Okay, when we say Greece, we can see the flag comes up. Now let's start the flag. Let's give it a class name. Okay, so we say width 16 and height 8. You can see, guys, we have our flag ready. Now let's give it some spacing. Let's use this div, maybe the distance for all of them. You know what, we are going to flex all of them, so let's go to their div. This is their div address here. So over here we can say give the class flex and space x4. So that is that. Now let's give it some spacing y. So we go to their div, then say space y 10. Good. So that will give that space. So that is that for the flag. Now next thing to handle is the area code. So when we go to the same data, we get the area code to over here. You can see the IDD, which is 3. Let me open it, you can see better. IDD, the root, IDD dot root is 3. Then the suffix is what? Is 0. So let's do that. So over here, down here, after the second one, we create a JSX. Okay, let me put it in a P tag. Good, guys. So over here we are saying search selected country. Next we say search selected country and search selected country dot IDD dot root. You can see. So that is that. Okay, you can see we have +5 here. Now the +5, it's Kiba is +5. What? Let's check it out. This one. When you go to it, you see the IDD. Kiba is +5 3. So another suffix is here 3. We need to add it to it. So +5 3. Don't mind this 3. This 3 here is just this one over the third div. Let me just take it off so it doesn't confuse you. Yeah, it's +5 3. So we need to bring the 3. Okay, so let's copy this one. So this one is going to be IDD dot suffixes. Okay, so let's check it out. So we can just copy this down and say good IDD dot suffixes. So that is that. So we can see we got our 5 3. So that is that. Let's give it some class name. The P tag some class name. So we come here and say good. Give it some heights 14, text Excel flex items and border B2, border gray 500 PB3 and MD medium. You can make the text to Excel. So that is that. For the what's the name? The class name for the P tag. So next is the flag. Let's give the flag to some class name. So over here we come to the div section, then say flex items and border B2 border gray 500 PB2. So that is that. You can see the this in the what's the name? The flag 2 has the same class name. So that's that for the class name for the image. Next is to create an input field here. So we go down inside the third div, just put our input there. So type telephone placeholder phone, then class name with full height 14 text Excel border B2. So that is that, guys, for the class name. So that is that. Let's check it out. You can see, guys. Good. Now what we're going to do next is to, so when we load it, we don't see this one and this one. Okay, we need not see this and this. So we say, so over here we can say, let's create a div. Good. So div over here, then say good. So after this div, So let's take this div off. Okay. So that is that. So inside that, we can say, let's take the second one there. Okay, good. So that is that. Good. So you can see, guys, so we say only appear. So we say search selected country and good. So that is that. So guys, what I'm trying to say is we say search selected country and then you display the flag and the rest. Okay, so when we come here, then select before it appears. You can see, guys. Yeah, so that is what we have done. So next, when we load it, what happens? The loading state, we need a spinner. The loading state, we need a spinner. So let's go up and say, let's create a div. Good. So div over here, then say, good. So after this div, let's go to the body over here. Let's say, give us the spinner, otherwise give us the body. Yeah, that's it. So we can say create a GSS, then say alt down. Okay, so let's say, let's get the spinner. As the last div. Let's check it out. No, I think the next one. Good, let's check it out now. Good, the body div. Good, so that is that. This is the body div. Good. So over here we say, give us if loading equals true, then give us what? Sorry, if it's true, then give us spinner. Okay, so we say give us a div, otherwise good, so it's not complaining. Give us a div, so otherwise give us the spinner. Okay, so this div is going to call the spinner. So we say, so let's bring it down here and say get our p tag and say loading. Let's check it out. You can see, guys, you can see the loading before it comes. So now let's enter the whole loading. So we can say give it a div, then say class name, and say flex justify center, then item center, height 48. Yeah. So let's give it some class name. The p tag took some class name. Good. So that is that, guys. Our loading is also working. So that is that, guys. Our loading is working. So finally, let's make our app responsive. Then we can say cheers. So to do that, let's go to the mother div with the background white where the main container is. Then say, so we say at small screen make the width full, at medium screen make the width for fifth, and at the same medium screen make the MX auto. Then after that, the large screen make the width to fifth, then the same large screen make the MX auto. Okay, let's check it out. You can see, guys. So that is that. Thank you for sticking through. Please don't forget to do good. Catch you in the next one. We say peace.